Welcome to a Crop and Create delivered video tutorial from Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. This is designer Lynn Ghahary, and today we are going to create a layout from start to finish using the Crop and Create delivered summer kit. Let's get started. We are going to be using this sketch from Becky Fleck. As you can see, the sketch is 8.5 by 11. I sometimes like to change up the size of the layouts that I'm creating just for a little bit of variety. I'm starting with a red piece of Basil Basics cardstock that you'll find in your kit. I've trimmed down a piece of the You Are Awesome patterned paper by Pebbles, and I'm just going to be placing it on the cardstock with about a 1/4 inch border all around. I've also trimmed down some of this graph paper from Studio Calico, and you can see I have printed my journaling in the lower right hand corner. The great thing about scrapping in the 8.5 by 11 format is that the pieces of paper that you're using are smaller. So you can go ahead and print directly on your paper using just a regular printer as opposed to a wide format printer. So again, I'm just centering this graph paper onto my layout base. And now if we take a look at the sketch, we're going to be moving along to that top cluster of embellishments. I've cut a strip of the multicolored stripe pattern paper from Pebbles, and I've also trimmed off a piece of one of the die cuts from Fancy Pants. Even though those die cuts are summer themed, you can see just by trimming off the rest of the ticket here, I only have the word ticket and that great postage stamp border that I'm using for this layout. This layout is not a summer themed layout. It's just an everyday layout, and I just wanted to show you how you can use this kit. Even though it is summer themed, you can use this kit for your everyday photos as well. The photo that I'm using is an older one of my son Darian. He was really having fun with an older camera that we gave him to play with, and he was taking a picture of me as I was taking a picture of him, and I absolutely loved it. You can see that I turned the photo black and white. The colors just didn't work with the papers that I'm using, but I loved the look of this photo black and white, and it really helps to coordinate and bring in the black and white pattern from that You Are Awesome paper. I've trimmed down a strip of this blue chevron paper from My Mind's Eye, and I've cut a notch in the right hand side. I'm also going to be using the camera die cut from Maya Road. I want to add a bit of dimension to this paper strip here, so I'm just creating a soft loop in my paper. And I'm using a mini stapler to just staple it together where I want to. I'm going to be covering the staple with the camera die cut, so it really doesn't matter where I put it. But you can see I've just created a soft loop, something that you could do with ribbon, and I just decided to do it with paper. It adds some nice dimension to my layout, which is something that I'm always looking to do. And now I'm just using some dimensional adhesive to adhere the camera die cut from Maya Road. And again, I'm going to be covering that staple with it. And now I'm going to move along to the bottom portion of the photo. I thought that I would do the same type of paper treatment on this blue chevron strip here, but I then decided I wanted to add a very small strip of that multicolored stripe paper just to help balance things out a little bit. So I decided to just adhere the blue chevron paper straight onto my layout, again notching the one side, and then I'm going to add in this very thin strip of the multicolored paper to bring that colorful pattern down to the bottom of my layout. And continuing along with that, I'm also going to be adding that green, another portion that I trimmed from that green die cut. I'm going to be adding it below this stripe paper strip here as well. When I'm working with papers, I like to try to have them appear in several places on my layout. And again, sometimes it's helpful to repeat elements and repeat patterns on one side of a layout and on the other side of the layout. So for example, this time I'm doing it on the top and then on the bottom of my layout. It just helps to move the eye around your page. I'm also just now using a black journaling pen and adding some pen stitching to the green die cuts just for a little more detail. We're going to be moving along now to my title treatment. I have used one of the digital die cut files that comes with the kit to create this larger speech bubble. I just enlarged the size on my silhouette so that it would include the word click here with my thickers. I'm going to be placing the thickers at varying angles, and you can see that I'll be stacking some on top of the other. It's a really fun way to add some extra detail and dimension to a layout, especially when you're using something like chipboard to add even more dimension just by simply overlapping your letters a little bit. And you'll see later on I use some dimensional adhesive to help keep those letters popped up. Now that I'm just finishing up adding the dimensional adhesive to my last letter, I'm going to add in the other letters, or other words rather, of my title. My title is click, 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 like the sound the camera makes when I'm snapping lots of photos of my boys. So I'm going to be using these really tiny letter stickers from the Simple Stories Essentials sticker sheet. And again, you can see I'm just using, some of the letters are uppercase, some are lowercase, and I am just mixing and matching and also tilting the letters as I place them down, just adding to that really fun, whimsical feel. Now you'll see here that there are 4 C's that I'm using, since each word click has 2 of them. I cheated a little bit because I happen to have a second sheet of these orange stickers on hand. But if you didn't, all you have to do is just mix and match with the gray letter stickers that are simply next to it. It's okay to mix and match the colors in your title. You can even mix more than just adding in that one little C. Off camera, I've added some pen stitching with that black journaling pen around the perimeter of my speech bubble, and I've just added my title to my layout with some dimensional adhesive. And now I'm just going to add the letter sticker, or rather word sticker, Joy, from the Jelly Bean sticker sheet. And I apologize, it's off camera. I'm just trying to pop out the inner parts of the letters here, and I'm going to add it directly to my photo. I really like to add words or embellishments overlapping my photos. I just think, again, it helps to really tie everything together and show that the photo wasn't just placed there, but it really was incorporated into the design of the layout. I'm just I was going to add a button, but then I decided to go with these really fun, colorful enamel dots from My Mind's Eye instead. And I'm just adding a cluster of enamel dots down here on the bottom right of my photo. And I'm going to add 2 tiny red enamel dots to part of the detail of my camera die cut. And you'll see in the finished layout, I actually end up adding a few more. So here's a look at the completed layout and a few detail images. For more information about Crop and Create Delivered, please visit www.scrapbookandcards.com or www.scrapbookandcardstodaymag.typepad.com.